This is a video from eSkillZone. For more videos, notes, and certificate, please visit www.eskillzone.com.
Cybersecurity management is the identification of an organization's assets, including people, buildings, machines, systems, and information assets, followed by the development, documentation, and implementation of policies and procedures for protecting assets. An organization uses such security management procedures for information classification, threat assessment, and risk analysis to identify threats, categorize assets, and rate system vulnerabilities. Loss prevention focuses on what one's critical assets are and how they are going to protect them. A key component to loss prevention is assessing the potential threats to the successful achievement of the goal. This must include the potential opportunities that further the object. Why take the risk unless there's an upside? Balance probability and impact, determine and implement measures to minimize or eliminate those threats. The management of security risks applies the principles of risk management to the management of security threats. It consists of identifying threats or risk causes, assessing the effectiveness of existing controls to face those threats, determining the risks, consequences, prioritizing the risks by reading the likelihood and impact, classifying the type of risk, and selecting an appropriate risk option or risk response. In 2016, a universal standard for managing risks was developed in the Netherlands. In 2017, it was updated and named Universal Security Management System Standard 2017. Types of risk: strategic, competition and customer demand, operational, regulations, suppliers, and contract, financial, FX and credit, hazard, natural disasters, cyber, and external criminal acts. Compliance: new regulatory or legal requirements are introduced, or existing ones are changed, exposing the organization to a non-compliance risk if measures are not taken to ensure compliance. Internal, strategic, research and development, operational, systems and processes, H&R, payroll, financial, liquidity and cash flow, hazard, safety and security, employees and equipment, compliance, concrete or potential changes in an organization's systems, processes, suppliers, etc. may create exposure to illegal or regulatory non-compliance. Risk options. Risk avoidance. The first choice to be considered is the possibility of eliminating the existence of criminal opportunity or avoiding the creation of such an opportunity. When additional considerations or factors are not created as a result of this action, that would create a greater risk. For example, removing all the cash flow from a retail outlet would eliminate the opportunity for stealing the money, but it would also eliminate the ability to conduct business. Risk reduction. When avoiding or eliminating the criminal opportunity conflicts with the ability to conduct business, the next step is reducing the opportunity of potential loss to the lowest level consistent with the function of the business. In the example above, the application of risk reduction might result in the business keeping only enough cash on hand for one day's operation. Risk spreading. Assets that remain exposed after the application of reduction and avoidance are the subjects of risk spreading. This is the concept that limits loss or potential losses by exposing the perpetrator to the probability of detection and apprehension prior to the consummation of the crime through the application of perimeter lighting, barred windows, and intrusion detection systems. The idea is to reduce the time available for thieves to steal assets and escape without apprehension. Risk transfer. The two primary methods of accomplishing risk transfer is to insure the assets or raise prices to cover the loss in the event of a criminal act. Generally speaking, when the first three steps have been properly applied, the cost of transferring risks is much lower. Risk acceptance. All of the remaining risks must simply be assumed by the business as a part of doing business. Included with these accepted losses are deductibles, which have been made as part of the insurance coverage. Information Security Management (ISM) defines and manages controls that an organization needs to implement to ensure that it is sensibly protecting the confidentiality, availability, and integrity of assets from threats and vulnerabilities. The core of ISM includes information risk management, a process which involves the assessment of the risks an organization must deal with in the management and protection of assets, as well as the dissemination of the risks to all appropriate stakeholders. This requires proper asset identification and valuation steps, including evaluating the value of confidentiality, integrity, availability, and replacement of assets. As part of information security management, an organization may implement an information security management system and other best practices found in the ISO/IEC 27001, ISO/IEC 27002, and ISO/IEC 27035 standards on information security. Risk management and mitigation. Managing information security, in essence, means managing and mitigating the various threats and vulnerabilities to assets, while at the same time balancing the management effort expended on potential threats and vulnerabilities by gauging the probability of them actually occurring. A meteorite crashing into a server room is certainly a threat, for example, but an information security officer will likely put little effort into preparing for such a threat. After appropriate asset identification and valuation has occurred, risk management and mitigation of risks to those assets involves the analysis of the following issues: threats, unwanted events that could cause the deliberate or accidental loss, damage, or misuse of information assets, vulnerabilities. How susceptible information, assets, and associated controls are to exploitation by one or more threats. Impact and likelihood. The magnitude of potential damage to information assets from threats and vulnerabilities, and how serious of a risk they pose to the assets. Cost-benefit analysis may also be part of the impact assessment, or separate from it. Mitigation. The proposed methods for minimizing the impact and likelihood of potential threats and vulnerabilities. Once a threat or vulnerability has been identified and assessed as having sufficient impact likelihood to information assets, a mitigation plan can be enacted. The mitigation method chosen largely depends on which of the 7 information technology (IT) domains the threat and vulnerability resides in. The threat of user apathy toward security policies, the user domain, will require a much different mitigation plan than one used to limit the threat of unauthorized probing and scanning of a network, the LA into one domain. Information Security Management System. An Information Security Management System, ISMS, represents the collation of all the interrelated interacting information security elements of an organization so as to ensure policies, procedures, and objectives can be created, implemented, communicated, and evaluated to better guarantee an organization's overall information security. This system is typically influenced by organizations' needs, objectives, security requirements, size, and processes. An ISMS includes and lends to effective risk management and mitigation strategies. Additionally, an organization's adoption of an ISMS largely indicates that it is systematically identifying, assessing, and managing information security risks, and will be capable of successfully addressing information confidentiality, integrity, and availability requirements. However, the human factors associated with ISMS development, implementation, and practice, the user domain, must also be considered to best ensure the ISMS' ultimate success. Implementation and education strategy components. Implementing effective information security management, including risk management and mitigation, requires a management strategy that takes note of the following. Upper-level management must strongly support information security initiatives, allowing information security officers the opportunity to obtain the resources necessary to have a fully functional and effective education program and, by extension, information security management system. Information security strategy and training must be integrated into and communicated through departmental strategies to ensure all personnel are positively affected by the organization's information security plan. A privacy training and awareness risk assessment can help an organization identify critical gaps in stakeholder knowledge and attitude towards security. Proper evaluation methods for measuring the overall effectiveness of the training and awareness program ensure policies, procedures, and training materials remain relevant. Policies and procedures that are appropriately developed, implemented, communicated, and enforced mitigate risk and ensure not only risk reduction, but also ongoing compliance with applicable laws, regulations, standards, and policies. Milestones and timelines for all aspects of information security management help ensure future success. Without sufficient budgetary considerations for all the above, in addition to the money allotted to standard regulatory, IT, privacy, and security issues, an information security management plan/system cannot fully succeed.
This is a video from eSkillZone. For more videos, notes, and certificate, please visit www.eskillzone.com.